I'm Mike Ganella, Chair of the Environmental Horticulture Department at Santa Barbara City College, and I'm a full-time instructor in the department as well. What I like about horticulture and landscaping is I just love plants. I have for a long time. I studied them in grad school and as an undergrad too, just how they work and how they look. There's so many different beautiful types of plants and colors of green. And then when you mix that with landscaping, making it like that knowledge of plants and applying it to a trade, I think is where I get really passionate that you can use that knowledge and love of plants, or I can, and teach students to do that and find a way to make a living at it, you know, using plants to create really beautiful spaces and also produce a lot of food. Now sustainability is really important, so getting students excited about finding low water use plants that can produce food, attract wildlife, deter pests. All those things are becoming more and more popular in the trade, so students can kind of get excited and learn to love use of plants and the plants themselves, but then also see how they can make a good living on that knowledge by being in landscaping. My favorite plant, it's difficult to say, but I do have a strong leaning towards desert systems, ecosystems, so I love a lot of cactus and succulents and desert trees and things. I spent a good portion of my professional career working in the Mojave Desert for the Forest Service and doing a lot of propagation of native desert and semi-desert species, so I'd say that's my favorite plant group. So the things a student can do with a degree in environmental horticulture, a two-year degree from City College, are it's basically 4 or 5 areas you can go into. One of the main avenues that our students will take is get their 2-year degree and start a small landscaping business or work for an existing landscaping business. And what the degree gets them is a couple cuts above the entry level. They could go in and be a crew boss, so they're actually knowledgeable enough to start their own business and do a kind of a basic landscape management, even design or maintenance business. And there's surprisingly still a pretty good market for that in town. I have students every year that start their own businesses or go back and work in their family business or one of those avenues. So there's that. A lot of students go into landscape design, which is you can do with a 2-year degree. Really, landscape design is different than landscape architecture in that you don't need a specific license. You just need to do some really cool designs and have a nice portfolio. And there are a number, quite a few actually in Santa Barbara, that landscape designers that don't have a higher degree, a 4-year degree or a landscape architecture license, but they have done wonderful work and been very successful with huge estates they've designed and you know, big name clients too. So as long as you're good, you can go into design too. And then there's a smaller chunk of the students in our program get the 2-year degree and then go on to a 4-year degree at one of the local or regional schools like Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo has, they'll go into landscape architecture there, or UC Davis. There's a couple of schools that also offer landscape architecture programs, like UCLA has a landscape design extension program that you can get, and those are the 3 most popular ones they go into. So those three professional avenues, and then there's quite a few of our students go on to work at nurseries in town, large commercial nurseries like a lot of the ones in Carp and some here in town, or even just a retail nursery, and they do very well in those. And then also some of our students start their own nurseries too, kind of a trend right now. We've had quite a number of students start native plant nurseries in the region. So I think those are the main areas they go into. The only one I didn't mention, which is a little bit of divergence from the horticulture industry, is going into going into ecological restoration, that type of work, and replacing areas that have been damaged by humans, or natural areas, with native plants and replacing the ecosystems that were native to that spot. before the humans came in and changed things. So that's ecological restoration, and we have a whole degree in that. And there's a couple of places in town where a lot of our students go and work for those companies that do restoration, and some of them start off on their own. And those working for the government, like the Park Service, the Forest Service, are places where you can find other public types of jobs in ecological restoration. Some of our students have gone to work for the National Park Service on the Channel Islands. They do a lot of restoration there. And I think those are all the main areas that students will go into with the two-year degree. Students also take our horticulture classes for another purpose, and that is just for personal enrichment. We have a lot of students that maybe are older and retired, or in a second career, or young and still working. It just depends, but they just want to learn more about landscape design, or they want to learn more about sustainable landscaping, how to make their yard maybe use less water, how to take care of their roses better without using toxic chemicals. We have a lot of those kind of students too, and they're a wonderful group because they're there and they just want to learn, you know, and go home and do it right then. And so we have a lot of those too that just are kind of, we call them home gardener students that want to just get practical information and not necessarily use it for a career move, but just because they love it. A couple of good suggestions for people that want to learn more about plants, especially students and community members, is to try going to some of our public gardens like the Santa Barbara Botanic Garden, where you can learn all about California native plants. Also some of the parks in Santa Barbara, like Alice Keck Park Memorial Garden, has a wonderful array of plants to visit, and most of them are labeled and it's free. Other local parks around town. We also take students to private nurseries and gardens in town too to help educate them about plants. The last place I would encourage people to visit is our Lifescape Garden here on Santa Barbara City College's campus, where our classes learn and put into practice all the things that they learn in class. And we have a wonderful 3-acre garden filled with over 300 plant species. Most are edible or drought tolerant or have some kind of sustainable use in landscaping. Just come stroll the garden, take a walk, bring your dog, find some of our workers, and we'll talk to you about the plants and tell you about the program if you're interested. And just enjoy yourself and try eating something or tasting or smelling something too. But we'd love to see you down here. Everyone's welcome, all ages. Come on down, and thanks for your time and listening. And I hope you're interested in the program.